anxiety and dismay
How this absolutely not in keeping with the spirit of this nation.
after Alligator Alcatraz stays open. Congress back for its second week since August recess,
We do not believe it's in the nation's interest to close the government.
with a looming government shutdown deadline. Caplin News is live from Capitol Hill, and a local representative giving back
I'm a 17-year breast cancer survivor.
while sharing her own story. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Dylan Pizzay, and today is Monday, September 8th, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Lawmakers divided with a deadline leaning.
Lawmakers returned to Washington, D.C. today after an eventful first week in session.
D.C. Bureau reporter Duvasana Bisundil is live at the Capitol with the latest on a possible government shutdown.
Good morning, Sam and Dylan. I'm here in Capitol Hill, where Congress will be meeting back for its second week in session. As House and Senate have a packed to-do list, they only have 10 legislative days to dodge a government shutdown. Partisan battles are still underway in the Capitol as lawmakers are divided over how to keep the government afloat, even on a short-term basis. Congress will likely consider a stopgap measure or a temporary solution to keep funding federal agencies, but even that could face hurdles in the Republicans' razor-thin conference. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that the ball is in the Democrats' corner.
We've been moving forward on appropriations. We'll be gathering steam to do that. We do not believe it's in the nation's interest to close the government down.
House Democrats are hanging their hopes on party leaders in the Senate to block any government spending bill crafted solely by Republicans. They argue that the political environment has significantly shifted towards Republican ideology in the past 6 months, especially with the One Big Beautiful Bill in July, and that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has almost no choice but to oppose a GOP spending bill negotiated without Democratic input. But Schumer is encouraging bipartisanship while trying to reassure Democratic skeptics that he's on their side.
The only way to avoid a shutdown is to work in a bipartisan way. You need Democrats and Republicans with a bill that gets both parties support in the Senate.
Unlike in the House, where Republicans can pass legislation with a simple majority, Senate rules dictate they need a supermajority, 60 votes to pass any legislation, so they need at least some Democratic support.
Republicans need to stop trying this go-at-it-alone approach. They did that with the Big Beautiful Bill. Look how that's working out for them.
As lawmakers continue to argue on the House and Senate floors, government funding is set to expire on September 30th. Reporting live for Caplin News, I'm Duvasana Bisundial.
The community is gathering in the heart of the Everglades outside an immigration detention facility. I attended the vigil, and it's growing every day.
At 5 p.m. every Sunday, prayer replaces protest along the Tamiami Trail in Ochope. Religious leaders from across Florida are holding interfaith vigils outside the center.
But I come out often during the week, as often as I can get out here, usually 3 days a week, sometimes 4. And I sit right here, right across the street from the entrance. I think of myself as a witness, and I see what goes in and I see what comes out. And I'm not the only one. There are other people who come out here to witness too. And then there were also witnesses who took pictures of buses. In other words, this was evidence that they could be violating the judge's court order.
The center was originally opened in July. A judge ordered the state to shut it down within 60 days, but the state is appealing.
We feel passionately about this entire situation. There's been no due process. There's been no investigation. This is just not what we're supposed to be doing in this country.
It's not a crime to be undocumented. It's a civil penalty. It's not a criminal penalty.
Vigils like this one are drawing attention from across the country. And here in the Everglades, people are coming together to pray at the entrance of North 41 and Tamiami Trail. Organizers say the vigils are a part of a growing national movement as community advocates take turns leading weekly prayers.
And we know how this story ends. We want to stop it, and it is absolutely not in keeping with the spirit of this nation, and that we are not going to stop until we bring it to an end.
For now, the future of Alligator Alcatraz is tied up in court, but out there, the vigil will continue every Sunday at 5 p.m.
As we move into the peak of hurricane season, experts are reminding us to stay prepared in case of emergency.
Caplin News' Julian Lascano is live from the National Hurricane Center in West Miami-Dade with more on what we can expect for these coming months.
That's right, guys. September 10th marks the official peak to the Atlantic hurricane season, which means that right now, conditions in the tropics are more favorable for storms to form than ever. But what does that mean for us here down in South Florida? And what can we do to stay? The Atlantic Ocean is in its busiest stretch of hurricane season, with the peak coming in early September, with warm ocean waters and favorable wind patterns making conditions perfect for storms.
So, during this period, the sea surface temperature in Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico is warmest.
History shows that some of the most destructive storms on record, like Andrew, Katrina, and Irma, struck during the same window. Forecasters say this year is shaping up to be active, with several storms already forming in the Atlantic.
I think it might be a near average season, but more likely it'll be above average. We'll see.
Experts say preparation is key. That means having food and medicine for at least 3 days, checking flashlights and batteries, and knowing your evacuation zone if you live in a coastal area.
This is, it's place a great responsibility on residents to take proactive measures such as building robust disaster kits and making a plan for the potential evacuation and well before the storm threats.
Bottom line is, conditions are ripe for storms, and while not every storm will make landfall, it only takes one to create massive amounts of destruction. That's why experts say stay alert, stay aware, and always check the forecast. Reporting for Caplin News, live from South Florida, I'm Julian Lascano.
President Trump pushes federalization threats as immigrant rights groups continue to push back, and he says a decision could come today. President Trump spoke to reporters yesterday after returning to Joint Base Andrews from the U.S. Men's Open Final in New York City. They questioned him on whether troops would be sent to Chicago.
Chicago is a very dangerous place, and we have a governor that doesn't care about crime. I guess we could solve Chicago very quickly, but we're going to make a decision as to where we go over the next day or two.
Activists gathered around in downtown Chicago on Saturday to oppose the president's ongoing efforts to use federal powers across the states.
A special summit bringing awareness to cancer survivors.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
So critical to speak at events like this, especially being a 7-time cancer survivor.
Sports fans rejoice as the sideline makes its grand return. Newsbreak will be right back in 2 minutes.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panthertech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Cancer survivor stories keep unfolding, reminding us that healing is a lifelong journey.
Cancer treatment may end, but the journey for survivors does not stop there.
This past weekend, one summit worked on bringing awareness and support to those living life after treatment. Caplin News' Valeria de Sousa has the story.
Beating cancer is only part of the journey. Here at the Cancer Survivorship Summit, survivors and advocates are coming together to spread awareness on the overlooked realities of life after treatment.
For joining us this morning. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Well, I am a 17-year breast cancer survivor and have been in the fight against cancer for my entire legislative career. I wanted to make sure that besides working on legislation, it was also important for me to create a summit, a one-stop shop of experts and resources and mobile units to make sure that people have a place they can come to get information for their journey.
Along with organizations offering resources, Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz also invited survivors like Lainey Jones to spread their stories.
It's so critical to speak at events like this, especially being a 7-time cancer survivor, getting my story out there and just making sure that, people are aware. And there's so many resources here and also just so many people who have been through this, right? Even someone like myself who's been going through this for a very long time, it just brings me so much joy.
Beyond sharing survivor stories, the summit drew a wide range of people, from medical professionals to college students.
Well, I'm a political science major. I'm also a pre-med, so I'm always trying to find the connection between healthcare and the policy work. And events like these are a really good opportunity to say, hey, yeah, we have a political figure, we have medical figures coming together to work together and build something a lot better.
This summit reminds survivors that their experience isn't one that has to be faced alone. In Davie, Valeria de Sousa, Caplin News.
It was a big weekend for South Florida sports with some big expectations, some which were met, and others, well, not so much. David may not have beaten the Goliath in FIU's showdown against number 2 ranked Penn State, but no one can deny that the Panthers didn't play a great first half of football, holding Penn State to just 10 before ultimately losing. All eyes are on the Shula Bowl next week. The Marlins came out swinging to avoid being swept by the Phillies in a tight game, and the Dolphins had a day they wish they could get back. All this and more coming up on the sideline right after Newsbreak ends. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Dylan Pizet. And you can get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.